Hello everyone, my name is Dimitri, I'm community manager. Welcome to the stream. With me today is, I don't think anyone needs, someone who doesn't need introduction.
Hi everyone, welcome to the stream.
How are you doing today? Please let us know. We're doing fine. We have a bit of a drizzle outside, but other than that, I think it's a pretty good Friday today. So we're very keen to start our stream today because we have quite special theme today.
Yeah, so we're focusing on Thompson Interactive today. There was a release this week from Thompson Interactive, I think, wasn't there?
Yes, there was. It's RHB Enhancement Pack number 3, which focuses, which adds some a couple of locos from the period of 90s. So if previous enhancement packs added locomotives from this age, there should be names. I am not gonna try to pronounce them. I'm pretty bad at this, but we have everything written down. And yes, so today's stream is focused particularly on Thompson Interactive and what they do there. We will be playing 2 scenarios. The first one will be from the very recent release that just came out yesterday. As I said, it's RHB Enhancement Pack number 3. And later we will be playing a pretty long scenario from Enhancement Pack number 2. And also for the second part, so for the second scenario, we have a bunch of questions that we went and asked from Alan Thompson, who is the owner of Thompson Interactive. And this will be for Matt. He will be reading those questions and the answers. Yes, we have quite a lot of to go through today. We are pretty much ready. I think it's gonna be quite fun. I gave the routes some play to make sure it goes a little bit smoother than last time, but we are very happy to start.
Okay, so you're going to run a tutorial first, which will showcase actually the sort of the headline loco from the new enhancement pack, the ABE44, and then we're going to do something on Arosa line, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're going to do something on the Arosa line. So I'll go through these questions which Alan has kindly given us detailed answers for. So at the end of this stream, you're going to learn a whole lot more about Thompson Interactive. I think we are going to try and do some more of these, aren't we? Focus a bit more on third parties and get them involved, and perhaps even get them to kind of join us on stream. But if not, at least get you some answers. So the questions that I'm sure you'll come back with, sort of, I wish we could have an answer for this question. Do post that on the forums. Let us know what, for future ones, what are the questions that you'd like to see answered, so that we can roll that into what we do.
Yes, so what we have today is quite comprehensive in terms of the amount of information that we have, but something to move on into the future is certainly we want to feature our third party partners a little bit more, give them a little bit more attention, because behind every third party developer there's a story and motivation. And this is something that's quite interesting for us, and I'm sure for you to explore. So we're starting these sort of a series. We're certainly looking for featuring more third-party developers in the future. But for today, we'll learn from how it goes today. We'll see what kind of experience it will be. So yes, we're pretty much ready to start. I'm gonna go through the tutorial, so I'm not gonna be rushing here. We're gonna read everything, and it's not a very long tutorial, but we just want to make sure that you can see how everything works on this particular locomotive. So yes, pretty much all the controls will be all important controls will be highlighted for us. We're starting with a locomotive brake. This particular one is for the locomotive itself, so it doesn't work on coaches. pretty simple, straightforward. If you're not very experienced, I think this tutorial is quite helpful. But if not, there are user manuals that go with your DLC, like with pretty much any other add-on that we release, and they're very detailed, about 20 pages. They'll find all information in there. So next we have a train brake, which is obviously slightly different from the locomotive brake. Yes, everything is nicely animated. The reverser, I don't think it needs any explanation. Yes, so this tutorial is going to be quite short. It's only about 15 minutes. Yeah, so the wheel is quite. I'm actually not sure if this type of wheel is featured in any other
It's quite common actually in a lot of European trains, yeah, because you've got a wide range of notches that you want to cover, and a lever wouldn't give you the precision, so they turn it round in the wheel, and it becomes quite common. Yeah, there's quite a few that use it. I
find it very useful and comfortable, quite a bit more comfortable than just a simple basic throttle. So headlights, everything is pretty straightforward here.
Can I just say, anyone who's got questions, can you hold them back until we get onto the next scenario, which is going to be a little bit more chatty, because we're just going to focus on the tutorial for this bit right now. And once we've done this, then we'll do these questions and any questions you've got just generally. I don't want to interrupt Dimitri while he's going through the tutorial, that's all. So apologies.
Yes. Or you can ask the questions, but we will not be reading them for at least now.
Don't want to miss your questions. Blowing fans.
Yes. The amount of detail in this particular loco is excellent. As a passenger, I found it very, I would say, comfortable to just to explore this particular route from this locomotive and coaches that are coupled with it. Magnetic brake, which we are hopefully not going to have to use today. Not any other emergency type of brakes. Yes, the ZSI safety system on this tutorial, it will pop one time if I'm not mistaken. Yes, this is something to be aware of for the future if you're planning to play this. Wipers is very straightforward. No settings for the speed of them, but they are easily to switch on and switch off. Cabin lights, I don't think we're gonna need it because it's quite bright outside today and inside. So yes, we are pretty much ready to go. What we need to do is to move to a front cabin and move to Pontresina line 6, and after that, at the very end, we will move our train into a depot. So we're gonna switch. We are gonna, yes, so we have to, with every stop, we have to put on the handbrake and release it as we're moving out, moving away. I'm probably gonna go with the, how is it called in vacuum pump switch? Yes, in
right.
English. Yes, because I will see what I want to do. Yes, we don't need anything else. No, I think we're pretty much good to go. So yes, we set up speed at 15 right now as we're slowly moving off, and
it's kind of a cruise control built into it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
That does make life really easy.
Exactly. But this, I have to mention, this train is from the end of 80s and the beginning of 90s era. If I'm not mistaken, it was brought in the 1990s, so it is slightly feels a little bit more outdated compared to previous locos on this particular, new locos on this route. Regardless, the amount of detail is quite fascinating. So this is how it looks. This is one of its liveries. We believe that this is quite gorgeous, especially for this route. There's lots of detail here, and yes, so we're gonna give it a little bit more speed. I can do it with the mouse, I can do it with the keyboard, I can do it.
Can you lower speed?
Yes, I can lower speed, but no, just a little bit, just a little bit.
Unfortunately, I can't change the microphone any louder. Oh, there's other volume knobs over here. Let me have a look at these. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. How's that now? Is that better? Let's try that. Right, there's another volume knob that I hadn't seen before. It's on the outside and clearly visible, but that doesn't mean I'm going to see it.
Cabin lights. I want to try this type.
Thelonious, this is an add-on pack for the Bernina line, is it? What route are we on? Bernina. It says Bernina line, at the top, yeah. So yeah, this is an add-on train pack for the Bernina line. Can we just scroll that up? Scroll the list up at this bar there. Let's just turn that back down to about there. That's better.
Yes, let us know. And apologies if there are any issues with sound. It's good if you tell us.
Yeah, it's difficult with a train, with train sim, because sometimes it can be really quiet in the game, and other time it's really loud in the game, and it's a constant fight to set the volume levels up. What does the term rail car mean as opposed to a loco? So a locomotive won't carry passengers, whereas a rail car is essentially a passenger vehicle, which also is self-moving. So it's a kind of a combination between like a locomotive that is also a passenger car. If you move the red to the down below, you'll get electric braking force. Don't go too far down because you're slowing down now.
Okay.
But you can apply it more to get more brake force, same as above, gives you more throttle. So rather than using the air brakes.
So, okay. Yes, we also need to be looking for signs. This is what especially will be important, signals I mean, especially important for the next route. But yes. Can go a little bit faster now. Yes, let's look around a little bit.
Press 5, is there a passenger view?
Yes. I wanted to keep it for later, but yes,
you didn't have to give it away now.
So this is what you can see, which is
I do like the passenger
views. It's really something special, but we will have an opportunity to enjoy the passenger view in our second scenario, because it will be quite long, so it will be over 60 minutes, with my driving maybe a little bit later or more. Yes, so...
Can we have a look around the cab?
Absolutely.
Pan around the cab. No, from the inside, just move the camera around.
Yes, let's start from here. Yes, there's quite a lot.
It's lovely. There's a nice selection of the Retiche barn stock coming through that's been released by Thompson over the last while. So there's a nice collection there that you can build up.
Yep. Yes. Now it's pretty much completely simulating how the Bernina Pass is in real life, and we are very happy. We're enjoying it a lot. It's certainly quite different from other add-ons that you have. It's brilliant, and is the reason why we are featuring Thompson Interactive on this stream, and why this stream is dedicated particularly to them.
Neki says Train Simulator multi-monitor display support. If you use NVIDIA Surround or the equivalent AMD technology, then essentially yes, because it creates it as one big screen. I believe that then works fine with the game, but it doesn't natively support multiple monitors itself. It requires that NVIDIA surround or something to do it.
Yep. Yes, I hope everyone knows, but this is our HB Enhancement Pack 3, which just came out yesterday, and that's we're playing it. We're playing the tutorial, which is just the first 15 minutes that teaches you how to drive the 4.4 locomotive.
Stopping points coming up. Just over a while. No, you've got all the way yet.
Yep.
Big Dog says, "Can we hear the whistle?" Which is always a delight on these.
Absolutely. I'll do it one more time. If everything goes right on our next scenario, I will be whistling quite often. Oh, we have to whistle right now. And activate our system. That was just in time. Let's do it one more time just for you. I'll just give you... No, it's too late. Just start stopping now. Somewhere around here we need to start slowing down. Just to give you one more time to have a look at this beautiful locomotive. Speeding. No, just in time. Yes, and if you were a passenger, this is what you would see. I will have to screenshot this. I like how it's snowing and at the same time almost raining, almost exactly as it is right now outside in our office. It's something between the snow and rain. Yeah, so we're approaching our station. We're gonna have to slow down soon. This locomotive is very responsive, so it's comfortable to drive. Anything interesting going in the chat? People asking anything interesting?
Not at the moment.
Well, they of course are always asking something interesting. Okay, we're bringing our train to a stop.
There you go.
We could have just wanted to go a little bit further, but yes, we're fine. Yeah, so we're gonna put on handbrake because that's how it works here. Yes, so apply the handbrake and move to the other driving cabin. Change the manual junctions ahead to set the route into a Pontresina depot siding 5. Yep. So let's do. Oh wait, I need to run this. Everything's fine. There we go. Where are we? We are right here. So I think it was this one. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Correct. And we're going to depot 5.
AT2G Steam says, "Is Dimitri enjoying his new role in Dovetail Games?"
Yes, definitely. I think it's. I would definitely say it's one of the best, if not the best, jobs that I've had. And I'm enjoying this company a lot. It's something. It's quite different to what you see in the industry. Everyone is extremely supportive. Everyone is valuing you, and providing an opportunity to really show yourself. So every day I come to work, I'm very happy, and I try to do my best. Although, as I said, I'm new. As everyone knows, I'm new to the industry, to the trains, but more more often than not, I'm finding myself just completely during the week, just completely immersed in the trains world. So I go to sleep thinking about trains, waking up immediately thinking about trains, and sometimes I need to switch off a little bit from that. Yes, absolutely enjoying, and I guess the only thing is just the complexity of the trains, which is still, yeah, we're good. Yeah, so that was pretty simple. Oh no, one thing I forgot. Yes, we are going for maximum authenticity, so we cannot forget these things. Yes, so this is our new enhancement pack for RHB3. Just came out yesterday, it's completely fresh. So yes, we want to show you this. And now we're gonna move on to our next scenario, and so this was a sort of a workout for the beginning of the stream. Now we're gonna move to our main part.
Let me switch it to that screen.
Yep.
Sorry about the frightening view there, folks. While Dimitri changes and gets the next one up and running. Would that be a fail because he's blocking the doors? Nah, let's just pretend that was the intention, JP.
There we go.
Right. So, we're going to get the new scenario up and running, and then we'll start looking at some questions. So, I'm going to start being able to pay more attention to chat and answer you a bit more. So, if you had questions you've been saving up, now's the time to fire them over, and we'll do our best to answer them for you. And we'll start working through some of Alan's feedback. Did you want to unlock your phone? Just in case.
Yeah, I think it's gonna lock after some time anyway.
Cool.
Oh yes, and what? Well, actually, you don't see the screen right now, unfortunately.
Oh.
Yeah, so this is our screenshot competition. If you, for whatever reason, don't know, we hold screenshot contests every week on our forums. So if you would like to take part, please do so. Just today, we started a new one, both for TS19 and TSW, so please go and take part, because what you're gonna, if you win, you will get featured in our loading screens in game for the whole month, which is a pretty good way to show off how good you are at taking screenshots. Right. Okay, yes, I will give a quick rundown of this scenario just to make sure that you know. I mean, probably many of you already played this, but just in case this on this scenario, we will need to have stops at requests by passengers. So either they will ask us to stop while they're in the train or while they're on the platform. So I will have to keep an eye and make sure that I do stop, because passengers don't want to be stuck on the train. There's a quite not very complicated, but quite sophisticated, let's put it this way, signaling system on this route, and I will try to follow it as much as possible. We're gonna start now. There's no tutorial, so we're going straight to the action. And while I'm playing, Matt will talk about the questions that we asked from Mr. Thompson.
Yep.
Thompson, and we have a bunch of questions, quite interesting. So if you have anything to ask, I'm sure we have something to tell you. But we're gonna focus on the questions now.
ATG Steam actually says, will third parties like Thompson Interactive be able to work on TSW third-party add-ons like they do for TS19? They certainly will. As if you've seen the article that went up a little while ago, that Ed Fisk, who is a third-party developer with Mesh Tools, is helping us with some of our own projects at the moment, which is a good way of Ed learning the tools. And I know he's got his eye on some projects that he wants to start thinking about for third-party projects. So we are getting to a point where we're going to start looking at some more serious projects with third parties and hearing what they want to develop. So in the fullness of time, which hopefully won't be long, they'll be able to start working on their own stuff. I'm sure it'll be a while before things come out, but yes, won't be long. So
One thing I wanted to mention about this particular train is the fact that there is a cruise control as well in here.
Right.
And it is quite comfortable in a sense that you can set it to 33 kilometers per hour, which is perfect for this route. And it will be following this exact speed. We just give a little bit of throttle, which is very comfortable for driving, especially for someone like me.
As a couple of people have noticed that this is an older loco running on the Arosa. That was the intention. Yes, we're running on the Arosa. The other two scenarios are 90 minutes each, and we thought they might be a bit long for the for the stream. So on the other one, so we thought we'd give you a glimpse at the rail car, and then we'd move on. This is another more Thompson Interactive content. So the first question we asked Alan was, tell us a bit about yourself. He says, I started my working career as an in-house British Railways photographer based in Glasgow, covering the whole of the Scottish region way before the era of digital cameras. After that, I spent over 20 years in the computer graphics industry working on multimedia projects before deciding to take the plunge and set up my own business. Thompson Interactive was born and have never looked back. So the next question was, what made you fall in love with trains? And his response was, my family on my father's side have always worked for the railway, dating back to the late 19th century. My father also sparked my interest in trains with his own love of the railway and his skills in photography. You might have seen some of his transport photographs in the literally hundreds of books where his images have been published under the name James Thompson. Outside of simulators, what do you love doing with trains? Modelling, heritage tours, volunteering, spotting and so forth? His response, I have a very small HOM BMO Ratishban model railway at home, but never seem to get time to work on it. I'm always too busy these days with virtual trains. I think we know what that means. We know exactly how that goes. So, next question. How long have you played Train Simulator? He says, I've been involved with Train Simulator from first launch back in 2007. As I'd already produced content for other older PC railway games, I immediately saw potential with a new platform. Glasgow Airport Rail Link was his first venture using the new game and tools, and I think that could have been the first third-party route ever published. So, Thompson's history goes right back to where the story starts, really, for the Train Simulator.
And you never know these things without actually asking. Who could have imagined, you know?
Yeah, it's Thompson's been around for a long time. You can tell because quality of the products is right up there with someone who obviously clearly knows very well what he's doing. As Martin's just saying there on the chat, these questions, we're going to get them up onto an article on Dovetail Live.
Yes,
so if you're missing anything or you don't understand what I'm saying and you want to get a copy-paste of it into a translator or just read it for yourself because I don't talk very clearly, then you can get that yourself from the article on Dovetail Live. So don't worry, you're not going to miss anything. Next question. Discounting your own stuff. Do you have a favourite locomotive or route in the game and in real life? And why? So, let me just turn the page here. Don't have any one route or loco I would say is a favourite. There are too many good ones out there. However, the route and train that made the biggest impact on me was the original TGV route from Paris to Lyon. I travelled with a backpack and very little money at the time to see this new wonder of the world, while the new orange paint was barely dry, and it was an experience I'll never forget. Has anyone ridden on the TGV? What do you think? Did you ride on the original TGV, the orange one, or have you been on the duplex? I haven't been on TGV myself yet. So there's no other questions coming in. Right, next question. For all the young modders out there, what is the most important thing to think about when starting a project like yours? Answer, research and a survey. If you haven't seen what you're making in the flesh, then it will be an uphill struggle from day one. And it's also a good excuse for making a trip. Which, you know what? We're all rail fans. We all need a good excuse to justify, I'm just going to have to go and see that railway. Go and look at trains for a trip. I think this is a good plan. Yep. We should all tell our other halves that we're working on routes and trains, and we therefore can justify the expense on all these railway trips. Okay. I think this is a good thing. Let me just catch up with chats. Right. Okay. Right. What software do you use in development? Alan models in 3D Studio Max, as that's what's used in his past multimedia career and where he's most comfortable. I also use many of the other industry standard texturing and utility tools, as well as some less familiar ones. It's all about finding the best solution for the project at hand. I think I always find that in any of these kind of endeavours, that there are tools which can do lots of things, but it's finding the right tool for the right job. Even if it might be an obscure tool, if it works best with you, then that's what's more important. If you're more used to Photoshop or GIMP or Paint.net or whatever your favourite tool is, then that's more important than is it generally considered the best tool in the thing. So it's what you're used to is really important. But 3D Studio Max is what we use here as well, and it's certainly what's used generally in the industry.
Matt, would you like to keep the other questions for a bit later, maybe?
Yeah, certainly.
Because people, I think, might get a little bit overloaded, and we want to save something for a bit later. So as you can see, we're going relatively smoothly. Oh, I think I forgot again the air brake, which I think is mandatory to set it when we're parking this particular locomotive. Yes, so feel free to ask any questions. What do you think of Thomson? Have you played any of the routes, or well, this particular route, or have you played anything else from this developer? If you do, please let us know, and we would really like to know, if you have one, what is your favorite logo from this route? Because so far I probably am enjoying this one quite a bit. I guess due to their modernity, it's modern, so everything good. Yes, so air brake. I'm doing everything very slowly, just to make sure that we do not break any rules, or we're being very considerate with our passengers.
Let's get some feedback on what Thompson Interactive projects have you got products have you got that you're enjoying? Not just the Ratichbahn stuff, but just generally. Trent Valley, for example, or the Glasgow Airport Rail Link. There's been lots of them. JP says rather partial to West Coast Mainline Trent Valley, but then biased as it's the nearest line to you. Makes sense. I won't hold that against you, JP.
Yes, and if you have been on this route, Bernina Pass, in real life, please do let us know, because we have to watch quite a lot of videos just to see how it looks in real life, and we found it extremely fascinating. I think it's definitely on my bucket list for the future.
Lord Creeper says he's going to go to the Bernina Railway on Sunday. Enjoy! I think Dimitri might be a bit jealous.
A little bit, just a little bit. Eventually we'll get there. I'm still hoping that Dovetail will pay for trips all over the world, so I could see some of the best routes and locomotives around the world. I'm just joking. It's probably gonna happen eventually, but maybe a bit later. Okay, so do we have anything in terms of science interesting for us in here? Yes, we have a very big manual for this particular train, just to yes, this loco, just to make sure that we do not miss anything. Yes, that's one of our brothers in here.
It's another interesting thing that they do with this railway line is they don't have dedicated freight trains so much. What they generally do is the freight will go up and down on the back of the passenger trains. Hence you saw a wagon on the back of that one. So it's really interesting how because it's a little bit different to what you sort of normally expect to see.
Yes, and also one interesting thing is that it's not a very new route, in a sense that it was built in the beginning of the 20th century. If I'm not mistaken, they finished it around 1914. So quite, you can imagine if you saw the this route in for example videos, or you saw it in real life, you would see how mountainous it is and how much snow there is, and it's quite a challenge to build in there. Especially, I can imagine it was quite a challenge to do this in the beginning of the 20th century. So you can definitely say that people back there were heroes. But what I also, as someone who comes from sort of an eastern part of Europe, or northern part of Europe, something that you do not really see very often there is Alps, basically people are living in mountains, and you have multiple communities that may be so far from each other, and at the same time so close to each other. You have Italian community on one side, and just a couple of kilometers from there you have a Swiss community. So it's the way it all works is it's very different from someone who doesn't come from this part of the world, and I find it quite fascinating that they really made it in real life, and let us all enjoy all of this in Train Simulator. Thompson Interactive let us enjoy all of this in Train Simulator. So we're gonna have to whistle now.
Yeah, I am looking at chat, folks. Yeah, make your questions. There are a number of people, as usual, posting questions about upcoming. Can you make this? Have you made this? When are you finishing this? When you're doing that? We can't answer those questions on this chat. If you've got suggestions for routes, then go to our forums. There's a really good place in there for making your suggestions and route proposals and loco proposals. So get them in there. That's the best place for those. And otherwise than that, if it's a question about products which aren't out yet, then by all means post them on the forums or on Facebook and so forth. But yeah, we can't answer those questions right here.
Yes, but while we cannot answer these questions right here, we can admire the beauty. Just as we exit the tunnel, we will be able to admire the beauty of this route. Yeah, so we will. Well, we're still going through these sort of tunnels and in this mountainous area, but a little bit later in the scenario you will be able to actually have pretty good panoramic views of everything here, which we can possibly do right now as well. Of course, not exactly, but later as we are slowly ascending, it will become even more dramatic. Yeah, so as I said, the cruise control is quite comfortable. This particular train is from, if I'm not mistaken, they were built between 2009 and 2011, so you can see quite a few modern equipment in here. And actually, one thing I want to note from the previous loco that we were looking at, the was it the 4.4? Yeah. It was originally built in the beginning of 90s and end of 80s. It was modernized with modern equipment, electrical equipment in 2004, just to make sure that it was a little bit more safer than before and more comfortable for the driver. If you would like to have a look at this route in real life, go to YouTube. There's plenty of videos, and yes, the views are really spectacular.
Ferramiro, can't remember if it's this route or not, but it isn't passenger mode a thing. How did they go about doing that? So this was, I think that featured on the Albula line first, if I remember rightly. And yes, it was a thing. It was really quite clever. Because it was going up a hill, essentially what it did was set the throttle to the appropriate speed and just left it there, and then you could just sit in the passenger view and operate like that. So it was really clever, but it meant that you could just sit in the 5 view and look around and not worry about it. And as soon as the train reached the top of the hill, that was the end of the scenario, and it ended naturally. So Virtual 170 done this route many times as he goes skiing in Arosa, going here again in a couple of months. Wow.
Do you have Russian developers, yes or no? I don't think we do.
Not working as third-party developers, but there are Russian developers who are making content in their own Russian communities.
Yes, exactly.
There's some spectacular Russian stuff.
And by the way, shout out to Russian community who are translating all of our news and sharing it with the people. And I just understand it may be very difficult for people who do not speak English to actually get an idea of what we usually are talking about. So, and a lot of time is spent translating things into Russian language. So thank you very much for being out there for us.
Yeah, very much appreciate it.
And all other languages, just to be fair. think I can enjoy the view a little bit here. We are should be approaching one of the stations soon, but we will see if we actually need to stop there. It's going pretty well so far. Fingers crossed.
We're getting there.
Touch wood.
Yes, we're first class passengers,
Yes.
Antifa. It's wouldn't have anything else.
Yes, I think we can move to. I think what we're gonna do, we're gonna stop at the next station, and we're gonna move to our next series of questions because it's not over yet. We have quite a few left.
We've got a number of groups. So the next set about Swiss development. We've got about the Pack 3 specifically, and just a few general questions. And like I said, if you've got any questions you want to ask, then we'll still do our best to answer them. Potentially, we've got Alan on Skype ready to answer questions as well. If I can get the phone working. There he goes. In fact, he's given us a bit of feedback there.
Here's a tip, Matt. If you want it to unlock, just press this button and direct it to my face, and it should unlock.
Oh, okay, you got face unlock. Okay. So Alan says there are 2 new passenger mode scenarios that come with the Bernina Pass. Fully function with station stops up and downhill. There you go.
Yep.
So yes, the Bernina Pass has taken that passenger mode and, on a bit further.
We're going fairly well.
What train are we driving? I think this is the Allegra, if memory serves.
It is, yes. So we're approaching a station.
Someone has called out that you're not using your headlights, however.
Oh. But is it... I don't want to ask this question.
You should always have headlights on.
Okay. You distracted me. No, I don't think we need to stop here, actually. No, we do not. Wow, how is that? We're speeding.
Actually, Alan's got a question for you lot as well. I say you lot, that doesn't sound very nice. For everybody on the chat, he says, has anyone visited Switzerland or the Retief-Baden routes after buying and experiencing it in the game first? That's really interesting. Have you played it in the game and it's inspired you to actually go and see the real thing afterwards?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we didn't stop here, but I think we could move on to our questions, or we are gonna wait for someone to...
Well, let's see what answers we get, if anyone answers that last couple of questions. Likewise, Alan, I know you're watching. If you've got any more questions that you want to that you want me to ask on your behalf, then fire away.
Yes.
Metamet, slightly different topic, says, are you planning to add more rails for TSW? There'll be more content coming out all the time. At the appropriate times, then they'll get announced. So just make sure you're on all the usual media channels, and then you'll get all the announcements when they're ready to come out. Okay. Ferramero says it's inspired him to go and see them. He just hasn't done it yet. So,
yes, it
future holiday plans. Right, so Swiss development. Asked Alan, what made you choose to focus on the Swiss Retief-Bahn routes and locomotives? He says, after my first visit on holiday to Switzerland and taking a trip on the Glacier Express from Brigg to St. Moritz, the world of Retief-Bahn became his passion. Since then, this love of meter-gauge alpine railways has overtaken his other railway interests that he had previously. Would encourage anyone who has an interest in trains to experience it for themselves. And to be honest, the views you get over bridges like this and some of the amazing viaducts on the different routes, it's just, it takes your breath away even in the game. So I can only imagine what it's like in real life. JP wants Toblerones apparently.
Yes, I would go. I can imagine it can be quite an expensive way to spend your, I don't know, holidays. If you are going to Switzerland, it's not the cheapest country.
I think all of that, any holiday is going to come with an expense, isn't it? That's what comes with it.
That's true.
Fab Diva says she's done the Glacier. It's spectacular. Oh, actually, Alan's just sent a message saying, and this is a really interesting one. If you can look on the outside of the train and look at the pantograph, so use the 2 camera and look at the pantograph on the top.
That it is.
So if you watch that pantograph as we approach tunnels, that will go up and down, follow the line of the overhead wires. What do you think, folks? Is that a good feature? I know I was really impressed when I saw that. It was quite a while ago. I think it was Albula that Alan did it, and he was the first one to do it. And I don't think anyone's done it since. So it was an amazing thing to see. Right. So what are
it's coming down a little bit. And
there you go. See, you see it's gone down, and then probably because we're going into a tunnel. Very cool. There you go. And then as we come out the other side, you'll see that it rises back up again.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are the first steps you take when deciding which route to take? The answer was, it's always a tough choice. I need to balance my own personal interests with the commercial realities of what can be achieved. The end result must be to a high standard, needs to be achieved in a sensible timescale, and also must be affordable for customers. I've had some criticism in the past, on social media for example, for not extending routes to destinations beyond his chosen endpoint. The risk of trying to deliver too much is the quality might suffer, the project might take too long to support the business, or the final purchase price might need to be significantly increased for customers. And above all, the route must be something that customers will enjoy. Excellent modelling on the pantographs, indeed. It is in there, isn't it, Eric? It's one of the things that I always find as being a hallmark of the Thompson Interactive stuff is little things. There's just little touches that just make it stand above, like on Trent Valley, where you get the passenger announcements on the train. This one with Pantograph and some of the other stuff. It's just really nice touches that just make it scream quality.
Yes, just to let everyone know, we need to stop here because the passenger said so. So that's where we're going to stop.
How does the passenger say so?
This
little
you can
see the light there on the
middle.
Excellent. I'm just going to unlock his phone again. Look at that face unlock.
So it's pretty good. Yes, it's especially when you're driving.
Right, how do you ensure fidelity to the real route? I survey every route I intend to produce before I start. You never know what you might find out about a route that you can't see from Google Earth. I mean, I can definitely back that up. Google Earth gives you a good overview reference, but it's amazing how much you can't see from something like Google Earth. Whereas if you actually go there, some of what you need to get from what you need in order to recreate the route in the game is going to be just a feeling. What does it feel like to be here? What is it? What was the emotion that you carried? And so you get a lot of that from actually being there, taking photographs, and then that you just don't get from something like Google Earth. So, or even Street View or something like that. So they provide a good source of reference, but you really, in order to capture the feel to the level that Thompson Interactive do here, you just got to go and visit the route and be there.
Oh my God, I forgot something. This is what I forgot. I forgot to set our direction.
Right, next question. What is your favourite part of the development process? He says, I've always had a fascination with railway signalling, and this process always holds my interest during development. Yes, railway signalling is challenging, but as Alan says, it's good fun because, I mean, from my perspective, my favourite bit is operations and how trains move from point A to point B. Obviously, cars can go anywhere they like, trucks can go anywhere they like, but trains are stuck on those tracks. And so how do you achieve what you need to achieve? How do you make sure it's all safe and so forth? And that's what signals are all about. And especially as you go into different countries, the general process by which a train moves forwards and backwards doesn't change massively. But the signalling and how they manage safety and control and direction and so forth can change incredibly, particularly in safety systems as well. So it's actually really a really interesting aspect of learning that stuff. Right, what is the hardest part of the development process? He says,
everything.
The hours involved. Some of the Swiss routes have only been realised by working upwards of 70 hours per week for the duration of the project. It's certainly not for everyone, and you need to have a very understanding family. It's always worth it in the end, though. So yeah, I think a lot of development projects tend to, if you're going to actually get out the project in a sensible timescale, quite often they do end up commanding a lot of your time to achieve. Otherwise, they run on for months and months and months. You recently made a free workshop item that merged the Albula and Bernina routes. What made you decide to work on this kind of workshop content? Answer, this was in response to a number of emails from existing customers. I felt it would be better for the routes to be merged by us rather than leaving it to fans to undertake due to the complexities and technical challenges posed by merging the products. I hope it's to everyone's enjoyment. It was the first time I'd seen the full potential of Steam Workshop and hoping to revisit again with future projects. So if you've got ideas for Alan about how you'd like him to engage with Steam Workshop, then do pass on the ideas. It's certainly the joining of those two routes. Certainly, I've seen lots of very positive feedback about that, and it's a natural use of Workshop. RJCO says, does anyone know if people that make routes like this have any extra tools beyond the normal editor that is built in? No. Other than stuff they've bought that anyone can buy. In terms of the game, they're using the same game that you've got. They are pressing Control E, going into the editor, and what it is it's time, it's skill, it's experience, it's expertise, it's all this stuff, and it's just a matter of building that up over time, the same as anything. They're using 3ds Max. You can use Blender. I think there are community exporters for Blender. You can create scenarios, create routes, everything you need to do. You've got all the tools there that you need to do it. Let me just turn this on again.
Yep.
Right. Okay, just making sure I'm not missing anything else. Right, that's it for that section. So we'll give it a break for a minute. What questions have we got coming in? Antifa Shuttle, I guess the most important tool for making these routes is a coffee maker. Alan, how important is a coffee maker to making these routes? I know that for me, as long as there's coffee and tea available, that's good enough. Doesn't need to be one or the other. But yes. Alan's actually sent a message saying that in terms of what's important to making these things, he says the Dovetail Games third-party team are a big help, worth stressing on that one, which I completely agree. Actually, the third-party team spend a lot of time helping third-party developers, providing assistance and guidance. They provide assets in some cases to help speed the development process along. And then take the content over, review it, and provide good feedback for it. And then once it's actually made it to a certain level, it can then get put onto Steam, and so it's managing that process onto Steam, getting it into the QA team. There's a whole big thing, and the third-party team are the bridge between the great content sitting on Thompson Interactive's computer and how it gets to your computer. They're really essential to that process. So a massive shout out to the third-party team there.
Yes. A lot of management comes into place, and you have to, as a third-party person, you have to really juggle between everything, make sure everyone's happy. So it's it's a very important role, and yes, thanks to them for that.
So in response to, is coffee machine the most important thing? Of course, Alan is a Scotsman, so Glenfiddich is his preference.
Crossing beautiful valleys.
Stunning, isn't it?
No, this is not what I wanted. How are you doing, everyone? Just tell us. I mean, are you enjoying Is featuring our third-party partners? Is that something that you would like to see in the future? Yeah, any feedback is very important for us. Let us know if you're enjoying the questions that we provided. I think we tried, not us, but our well-known marketing manager Martin got these questions, and so I would like to thank him for that as well. He's doing an amazing job always, and the amount of work that he has to do is just astonishing. It's way above the levels that I do, so thank you very much, Martin.
IJCO says, I tend to fail these routes a lot because I was too busy in the third-person camera. Me too. Me too. One of the downsides of having a route that's as beautiful as this is you don't look what you're doing. You tend to be looking out the window going, oh, look at this is amazing. And the next thing you know, the train's screeching to a halt because you've missed something. Yes. Or, hang on, shouldn't I be stopping? Oh, never mind, we're not going to stop there then.
We're approaching another station, so we will need to look for signals. They will tell us if we need to stop.
Of course, I've never missed a station on one of Thompson Interactive's routes ever. Might even have been on this one. I missed the station. It was 4 miles later before I realised I should have stopped at that station. Bregan. Well, yeah, it probably was Bregan, Fab Diva.
So we should soon be able to see.
I was too busy enjoying the chat and enjoying the route and enjoying the train and not paying any attention to what I was doing.
We need to stop here because of this sign.
Yes.
It shows us that there is someone waiting on the platform. So we're gonna start slowing down a little bit. And maybe we even would have some time to enjoy the view because we are getting higher and higher now. Oh, yes, I think I saw this particular station on St. Peter Molyneux, so I apologize if this is completely wrong. I saw it in videos in real life, and the way that Thomson recreated it is fascinating. Very good.
Bjorn Kron, thank you very much for that. Really glad you're enjoying TSW. Very, very glad. 40 hours. Wow, you're going great guns there. Right, Alan has actually made another good point. Now he says, does everyone know about the user manuals and how they explain signalling speeds and so forth? There's a lot of technical detail that is implemented in these routes and what the signal aspects mean and the intricacies of the cam signalling and so forth. And so yeah, Dimitri is using the manual to reference while he's driving along. How you know when to stop at stations because of the stop indicators. It's just not just all of the stuff going on in the cab there, a lot of which is working, but also how the signals work and the fact that just like in Germany, it's a speed-based signalling system. So certain aspects impose certain speed limits without them necessarily being on the HUD. So you'll go past a certain aspect signal and it will mean it's a 30 limit and another one will mean it's a 45 limit. So it's really important. Have a look at the manual. If you go onto the Steam page for each of the products, there is a thing which says to download the manual. So that's just a quick and easy way of getting access to the manual. When you've bought the product, it is in the manuals folder in Railworks, but if you don't know how to get there, it's just easier to go onto the Steam website and get it via there. But I would strongly recommend for any of Thompson Interactive's products, in fact for any in general, go have a read through the manual and just make sure that you're fully aware, because it will make it so that you can fully appreciate what's exactly actually in the product as well. Because it's very easy to not turn safety systems on, and you'll then miss a ton of gameplay that's been added. It may be you don't want to turn the systems on right away, but it's something that you then, once you know that it's there, then you can build up to that. Fab Diva says, Matt, suggesting reading the manual? Yes, do as I say, not as I do.
Is there any battery left? Any battery left? 24%. No, we're fine.
24%.
We're good.
Yeah,
We're
good.
good. Absolutely.
If anyone finds it too difficult, they can always use simple mode. So yes, again, the manual will tell you how to choose the modes. So you don't have to sort of look at these things as if you don't turn everything on, then you're going to miss out. It's if you just want to experience. I mean, look at the view. If you just want to experience the views and just ride the train up and down, you can do that. But then if you want to much more stay in the cab, this is a much more tricky train driving experience, much more involved, then the manual will show you how to turn on the other systems so that you can engage with that.
I've probably missed a couple of whistles already, but I have to show you the views, guys, so I'm sorry for that. We'll have a look. We're approaching another station. Paste. I don't know. I'm not gonna bother. I have excuses. Okay, I'm from a different language culture, so I have excuses. There we go. We just let everyone know that we're approaching.
Are we stopping here?
Yes, I think so. I'm not sure. We need to see.
No passengers so far.
It doesn't yet say, but I think. Urgently need to look at the lights. Yes, I think this one is just a warning, isn't it? It's a level crossing without barriers. So no, we don't need to stop here. I hope. Do we not?
Alan's just sent another message saying before we forget and we finish the stream, he just wants to say a huge thank you to all of customers of his products for their support and great feedback. Without you guys, none of this is possible, and I'm just going to echo that as well. I can't echo that enough. It's the feedback and support that you give all us and all the third-party developers is critical to making sure we get everyone can get the better product out that you're looking for, and it helps understand what you're finding as a valuable part of a thing, which means that you know where to do more of that or when to do less of it. But which country, Einhard? It's Switzerland. Switzerland.
If I'm not mistaken, it borders with Italy. This particular part. Okay, don't listen to me.
The level of geography I'm not particularly familiar with. Ben Brown, can you do what you want in this game, or are there missions you have to do? So there is free roam, and you can make your own free roam things. All the editor tools are provided right in the game itself, so you can even make your own routes if you want to. There are missions provided. They're called scenarios, where you follow a set of instructions, which is what Dimitri's doing. There's quick drive, which is kind of a bit between the two. So where you can sort of say, I want to put the train here, I want to drive it to there, and then you do that, so you get a bit more freedom. In free roam, you can go anywhere you like, pretty much.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's up to you how you want to enjoy trains, which is kind of one of the key things, really. Right, let's carry on then. So these questions relate to the RHB Enhancement Pack 3 specifically. So first question, have you travelled along the Bernina Pass in an ABE 4-4? He said, yes, I was lucky enough to work with the Rhaetician Railway during our October 2018 survey and travelled in the cab from St Moritz to Poshavo. What is in the pack? All 6 Rhaetice red livery variants, along with 2 past promotional liveries for vehicles. These special graphics highlight the UNESCO World Heritage status of the Albula and the Bernina lines, and also the centenary of the Bernina line. The pack also contains 10 different officially licensed Co-op swap body container wagons. I've been hoping to bring these to TrainSim for some time now, and I'd like to express my thanks to the Co-op in Switzerland for the help in realising this. Oh, Alan's just actually said, Rhaetice is in the canton of Graubünden in the southeast of Switzerland, the Italian-speaking area of the country.
There you go.
Italy was in there somewhere.
There you go, yes, exactly.
As long as there's pizza.
Spaghetti.
We've got no news on future routes at the moment, VA Rail fan. As previous, if this has got questions about projects which you haven't heard of before, so are you making this? Will you make this? Best bet is to ask those on social media. They're not something we can answer right now. What other questions have we got? So is this Switzerland and not Croydon? Yes, Moggy.
Yes.
That is indeed the case. Well done. Can I just get a round of GGs for Moggy for keeping up? Right, okay, what do we get to? Right, when were you always planning to release the ABE 443 railcar for Bernina Pass, and what drew you to it? The Allegra multiple units are now the main traction on the route, but I'd always planned to develop an ABE 4-43 railcar, as it's one of my own favourites and give customers more gameplay potential for the Bernina Pass route. I know that, I mean, I must admit, my personal preference is slightly back and a little bit more on the heritage side on trains. They just feel like they've got so much character, rather than the modern ones, where character seems to be sometimes sacrificed for efficiency and optimal, which is obviously really important in the modern railways, but from an enthusiast perspective, you get so much character in the old trains like these.
I'm curious, Matt, do you have any preference for any specific type of locomotive? It would be a diesel or diesel electric or anything?
Steam. Steam engines. I like rail cars like this. I like anything where you feel like you have to drive constantly. I'm less of a fan of the high-speed stuff. Exactly. Whereas commuter-type trains, freight trains, steam trains, love that stuff. Next question. Aside from the Loco itself, what's your favourite new feature in the pack? I had to give some thought to how the emergency walkway plates would behave when coupling and uncoupling. By default, I make gangways and corridor connections part of couplings to avoid seeing them break apart when going around corners, as model trains suffer from. As these plates pivot vertically and are hinged to the front of the railcar, I couldn't make them part of the coupling in-game, so they needed to be animated and scripted on their own. It's all about finding solutions to these little challenges. That's it, isn't it? It's very easy to say the game doesn't support it, but if you actually get really creative and clever, like Alan does so often, the game does not support the pantograph going up and down with the overhead wires. What Alan's done is he's figured out, you know what, there's a way to do this, and that solution is actually really clever. It's one of those things that makes sense, but it's just thinking about it slightly outside the box, and I think that's one of these key areas, is just working out how you can make it. And then when you start doing that, the simulator is capable of almost anything, really. Let me just catch up with chat, make sure I'm not missing anything. There's a question.
We're approaching another station shortly.
Dylan Heaton, are we doing a live stream tomorrow? No, this week it's just a live stream today.
Yes, but we are making a live stream next week. So
next week?
Yes,
the next one.
You should be looking forward to this. It'll be 8th of February.
8th of February. Right, last question in this section then. You've added improvements not related to the operation of the train itself. Rain and snow effects, window animations, seasonal and timed lighting. How far is far enough in terms of realism for these kinds of details? The answer? I always try to push the envelope a little more with every release. However, it is all about balance again, and new features are fine as long as they do not impact on gameplay performance. Not everyone can afford the latest and greatest PC on the market, so we try to add features while maintaining those precious frames per second. So, yes, it's cool to see the stuff, but if that reduces the number of people that can enjoy it, that's obviously not quite so good. And sometimes it's not possible to add a feature and then make it detail only.
I'm not sure if I need to stop here.
US, it is marked as an actual stop. This is a timetable stop.
So
you're missing it. Yeah, this is a timetable stop.
Right, okay. My bad. Well...
That's it, open the doors. Okay.
Whew. It's a good thing that I asked. Timetable stop, okay.
Yeah, Alan says stop as well.
Well, yeah. I wish I had some... Maybe next time we could just hook him up on Skype so that he could just tell us what to do. I should have done this time, but... Yeah, my bad, sorry.
It's alright, we'll carry on.
Have everything closed? Yes, we do.
I've done far worse.
Just want to make sure everything is fine. So let's reduce this. We're gonna do this and start moving slowly.
Apparently you made him spill his whiskey. This is a bad time. This is a bad time.
Yeah.
Fab Diva says at least he realised in the station, not 4 kilometres up the line. You're never going to let me forget that, are you, Fab Diva? you miss a station one time.
Look at this. Look at this. You have to watch this.
Wow, look at that.
Wow, it needs. Oh my god.
Gorgeous. There's so many beautiful views. Can we have a look at the bridge?
Yes, of course we can.
Use the 8 camera, then we can move the camera around a bit with the cursor keys. Look at that bridge. I'm a bit of a sucker for the architecture of some of these things, like the amazing spans they make across these big gaps. There's some spectacular stuff, like I think it's on the Albula line where they've got like a multi-layered viaduct. It's very, very nice. Manic Pixie, how hard is it to model a cab with working controls, levers and stuff? I guess that's a relative thing. If you're a good 3D modeler, then it's not really asking lots more of you than the modelling skills that you would normally have. If you've not modelled 3D before, then you need to learn 3D, and at that point, it's just doing more 3D. Actually, making the levers come to life and operate controls. That's about the setup of the loco, and that can be tricky until you get used to how it works in the game. But it's not massively complicated. It's up to you how complicated you want to make it, to be honest.
Alan has a more than 20 years history with modeling, and that's longer than I've been alive. Well, not exactly longer, but quite close. So you to make something like this, you have to be on a certain level. That's not achievable very quickly.
Oh yeah, very much so. So anyway, Alan's just wanted to say the driver is doing a fantastic job.
Thank you very much, Alan. Thank you.
But he also sent a note about that bridge, saying it was the first use of reinforced concrete in the world on that scale. So, again, quite an impressive structure.
That's interesting.
It's amazing when you look at some of these old railway lines and you think, wow, that's incredible. And then you realise they built it before modern construction techniques. Then you realise just how hard that was, and you marvel at how it looks beautiful and such precision engineering. Actually, they didn't have what we have now to do that, and yet they're still able to do it because they were just that good back then.
This is Swiss people for you.
Right, so how are we doing anyway?
We're doing fine, but we are still quite far away from our targets, I think. So
I'll hold off the last section for a little while then.
Please do so. Yeah, so we are approaching. This is one of our timetable stations, isn't it?
Alan says the bridge was designed by Hermann Schuck. It was built between 1912 and 1914 by Edward Zublin for the Chur-Arosa Railway. 1912 and 1914, folks. That's an old bridge.
Old bridge, yeah.
It's also now listed as a Swiss Heritage Site of National Significance, as it's a pioneering reinforced concrete structure. So it's an important landmark as well.
We are stopping here for sure, aren't we? Yes, just checking.
Yep, so, that's on your timetable
yes,
list.
Exactly.
Yep.
Someone's asking about Aberdeen. That's funny because that's where I went to university. Going there.
Daniel, if you're having problems with TSW, can I make a request that you drop a support ticket in with as much information as possible, and one of our support team will be able to help you out with that. Almost Switzerland's answer to the Ribblehead Viaduct. I don't actually know how the Ribblehead Viaduct compares age-wise. Been around a while, I know that, but that was quite a bit bigger bridge, though. I think the Ribblehead.
Where is that?
Ribblehead is on the Sutton-Carlisle line in north of England.
Okay. I just made a whistle, by the way, on time. So.
Apparently Aberdeen is Gaelic for hypothermia. Credit Billy Connolly.
That's very accurate.
I used to travel into Aberdeen because I lived in the Shetland Islands.
All right.
Lived on the northernmost Shetland island, one called Unst, and we used to get 2 roll-on, roll-off ferries to Lerwick, which is the capital of the Shetlands, and then we'd get a P&O ferry back down to Aberdeen. Little minor bit of trivia that probably isn't relevant to anybody. Rebel Head was 1870, 1875, so yeah. Pretty old, another pretty old bridge.
Yes, there's something beeping right now, so if someone would be able to tell me, Alan?
What's the beeping, Alan? What broke?
Okay. It keeps beeping. It's one of the signs. This means we can go. Wait. This one doesn't mean that we need to stop here.
Don't think so.
I just want to make sure that.
Look at the signal reference.
Oh.
Alan can't hear it, so can't be that important.
I'm not sure. I'm praying to God that it's gonna work.
We're good. We're good.
Something with FPS. Okay, FPS is back. Yeah, I just want to make sure that we're following the signaling system. I mean, I can understand whistles, but this is very important. Oh.
Going a bit fast at the moment.
Yes. I've accidentally put the.
The cruise control left.
Yes.
Yeah, Alan said that was a green signal. You're all good. I thought it was a green signal.
Yes. Yeah. Just in case. No problem. We can have a look at this a little bit like that.
If you don't see another train coming, says Ferramara, you're good. Not strictly true, but it's a good place to start. If you don't see a policeman at the end of the station waving a flag, you're good.
4 kilometers from our final station. It's going quite fast, isn't it? It's 65 minutes, but it should be something else after this, so I'm going to end right now.
Volume of the game is a little bit low. Do you want to just wind that one up just about to there, maybe?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, another chance to enjoy the view.
I don't know how, but the game media audio seems to have got muted. Let me know if the game audio is now too loud and we'll dim it down again. But hopefully that's... you can now hear the audio. I must have knocked it with the phone.
Okay, I think this is one of the stations that we might need to stop at. That view in the front, it's beautiful. Let's see.
What gauge is this, Thomas Trains? This is meter gauge.
Yes, we're approaching one of the stations. We'll be looking out for signals to make sure no one is left unhappy.
We've got 30 limit coming up.
Oh, yeah.
Alan says the Arosa line climbs over 1,000 metres in altitude during this journey. It's a kilometre upwards, which is quite impressive.
Yes, we have a whistle, at least something. Back reference. I'm not sure. I don't know. I think if I miss it, I apologize, but I'm not sure. I don't think so. That we have to stop.
Apparently this one we just went through is not a station anymore. It's just a passing point.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Yeah, thank you very much, Alan, for being with us and directing me, because otherwise a couple of times it could have ended pretty badly. Oh, maybe not too badly, but yeah. It's gonna go a bit faster shortly. And after that we'll have a nice straight line where we'll be able to enjoy the views again. Slight speeding.
Speeding's fine.
Just slight.
People get really upset about speeding, but where are we at now? Just passing the 2 kilometres to Arosa.
Not a good view. Yes, going relatively well. But this is a very comfortable route, and I have to admit, you have to do some preparations, of course, to make sure that you do not do something stupid like miss a station, because you really have to keep your eye, make sure that you do not miss it, basically, and your passengers will tell you whether you need to stop or not. But other than that, it's very comfortable, and it's obviously absolutely beautiful.
It's not speeding, it's strategic time management techniques. There you go.
Yeah, you can say that.
So Alan's just sent another message. He says there were plans years ago to tunnel through from Arosa to Davos, but they never happened due to the cost.
I wanted to show this side a little bit. I'm curious, do we have a rail driver in the office?
Do we have
a rail driver?
Yes, we do.
We do?
We do indeed.
I wonder if it would be possible to try it out.
Yep. Right, coming up on Arosa. Right, as we finish this, let me just finish the last couple of questions. So, if you had £10 million, what would you do with it? He says, after the first few months of celebrations and sore heads, I think I'd like to put something back into the industry. I would find it impossible to sit back and relax, as my head doesn't work like that. It'd be great to open a larger studio and employ some and train some of the great new talent out there. Just think how much more of the railway world we could cover. For the past few years, I've worked on my own, so it'd be an exciting new chapter. The next question was, if you had completely free choice, ignoring complexity, cost, licensing, popularity and so forth, what routes or locos would you like to make? He says, maybe an Alpine cog railway, something with a much more technical slant. A lot of hurdles to overcome, but it could be very exciting. Next one. I'm interested to get your take on this one as well, folks. Controller or keyboard? He says, each to their own. I'm old school. I like my keyboard, but the console market is extremely exciting. And then finally, what's coming next? And we'll end there. No. He says, well, that's a very good question to end on. I'm currently planning for the next years ahead, and I might have some very exciting news to share with your audience in the coming weeks. Watch this space. So, watch all the usual spaces. So yes, a big thank you for Alan for spending a lot of time thinking about those questions and getting us answers. And obviously, big thank you for just the amazing content and the experiences that he shares with us in the game. It's tremendous. So
and thank you for being understanding as well, and for just generally being very nice to us. So we really do appreciate it a lot. I hope I'm not missing. No, stop, please stop. Train, stop train. I had no choice. But we are here.
Just having a look to see what else has been said. Is there any steam locomotives for this route, Chris? No, there isn't. It's beautiful, isn't it, Manic Pixie? It's a lovely route. And a big well done to Dimitri. That's beautifully driven.
Thank you very much. Outside the emergency stop at the very end, but thank you.
That's fine. I never noticed. Nobody noticed, yeah? No, right? Nobody noticed? Me too.
That was a successful journey. So
you can pick up, Alan, the Thompson Interactive products on Steam.
Just look at the timing.
Almost exactly spot on.
1 minute late.
1 minute late.
Look at the timing here.
So you can pick up Thompson Interactive's routes and the enhancement packs on Steam. So if you haven't had a look, go and have a look, particularly at Retish Barn stuff. If it's not normally your thing, give it a go. It's a different experience probably to what you're used to, and it's worth giving it a go and taking a look.
Yes, and Alan, thank you very much for suggesting the routes. I think you gave us something that's very comfortable. Otherwise, we would have spent quite a lot of time on one single route, which would last over 90 minutes. We really do hope that you enjoyed the fact that we tried to show what you've made, the new enhancement pack, which we showed off at the beginning of the stream. Thank you very much for very detailed answers to our questions. Thank you, Martin, for giving us these questions, but the answers are very detailed, and we really do hope that everyone enjoyed it. Thank you very much for tuning to the stream. 1 second. Next stream will be next Friday, so obviously we will give all the announcement. Yes, I'll give a word to Matt if there's anything that you would like to say.
I think that's it. I mean, Alan's just said thanks to everybody as well,
Yes.
and I want to pass thanks on. Thanks for watching. And if you've got any feedback, as always, with any of these streams, if you've got feedback, then do send it in via Support Ticket or via the forums or Facebook, and let us know what you want to see on these streams. We'd love to do more of these in-depth third-party partner streams. So,
Yes. For anyone who is who comes to our forums often, to our official Dovetail forums, I will start a discussion of the stream, where I would like everyone to come forward with your feedback. So hopefully there will be some nice feedback which we can take to our next stream.
Excellent. Okay, and on that note, folks,
yes,
thank you very much for watching.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next week.
And have a great weekend. And thank you, Alan.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye-bye, folks.